Welcome, my friends, to another edition of the Heritage Wealth Planning YouTube channel. It is a world of chaos, we're told. Nuclear war about to break out with the North Koreans. China is going to take over America. We're having all these issues with terrorism, school shootings. Oh my goodness, we've got so much to be scared of. Well, let's stop every now and again and take the moment to see what's good out there in our world, because there's a whole lot more good than there is bad, that's for sure. And in one of the articles I want to share with you today, which I just read yesterday, I believe, yesterday, was from Reuters. And Reuters talks about how India's JSW Steel, the American affiliate of India's JSW Steel, is going to invest $500 million in U.S. steel operations. Now, in of itself, I almost guarantee you missed this, and that's fine. I didn't, because when if you've followed me at all or read my stuff, you know how much I believe we need domestic steel manufacturing. In fact, just watch that video right there I just pointed to, and I have another video on why we need domestic steel. And that video was an answer in terms of when the Trump tariffs initially came out. Everybody's up in arms like, oh my God. Ah. And then the free traders that are out there saying, oh, you can't be for Adam Smith or Milton Friedman if you agree with these tariffs. And I completely disagree. And the reason is, the facts are, the large power transformers that American electrical grid is built on. This is just electricity now. I'm not talking about natural gas and all these other things. Just talking about electricity. So remember, electricity is a component of energy. Right? Energy, we use a lot of electricity, but we also use natural gas, we use coal, we also use oil and things of that nature. But I'm just talking about electricity. So when they're all saying, oh, these large power transformers, LPTs, their average age in the United States is now about 30 years old. And as they get older, the likelihood of them going kaput increases, and maybe not exponentially, but certainly there's a big correlation between age and the likelihood of it going kaput and needing to be fixed, if not outright replaced. All right, so how does that happen? Well, it takes steel, a high quality steel, in which to use to build a new large power transformer or to fix one that's already gone, kind of on its last legs. We don't manufacture that much domestic steel. We just don't. It's certainly high quality steel that can be used for electricity. We import it from China, and China gets the thing with free trade is there's something called dumping. And what that means is China subsidizes its production in order to dump the United States. That way it drives their own manufacturers out of business, and now they have the monopoly on the business. Now they can do whatever they want. They can raise the prices. They can make us beg to get the steel that we need. Because remember, if we don't have electricity, thus, if our large power transformers and other grid components, we cannot replace them because they go down because of aging, and we have no way to replace this. We have no electricity. If we don't have electricity, we're not going to survive. There's no other way around that. Electricity does more than just keep these lights on. Electricity is everything we use connect anymore as our common society. Without it, it's not going to happen. And don't even tell me about solar panels for photovoltaic. Please don't. Wind, certainly hydro. No. We need electricity, and it's got to be fueled with coal, with natural gas, with nuclear. Yeah, there's room for a little bit of renewables in there, but we need electricity a whole lot more than PV panels on a rooftop are going to provide. It's just not really debatable. So when I saw this, like, oh man, this is good stuff. Because again, a few months ago or a few weeks ago, everyone's like, oh, Trump, he's going to stop the world. Ah. And I said, no, this is going to be a good thing. And I tell you what, this article from Reuters of all people, certainly not a right-wing rag, kind of confirms that, the suspicions that we had when it came to Trump's trade tariffs. Because we had a lot of people on my side of the equation that felt that this is going to be a good thing. So let's just start. India's JSW Steel on Monday, it would spend $500 million to build out its U.S. operations in Texas. All right, so JSW Steel is going to spend $500 million. The company has signed an agreement with the Texas governor's office. So you got Greg Abbott, the Texas governor, signing an agreement with JSW, and they're going to grant them $3.4 million to the company's unit. The unit sells high-quality carbon plates to the energy, petro, defense, and other heavy equipment industries. Let me repeat that. High-quality carbon plates to the energy, petrochemical, defense, and other heavy equipment industries. We need high-quality steel in which to keep our LPTs up and running and to replace them or even expand them. Because don't forget, America has 330 million people. The average age of the LPTs are 30 years when we only had 200-something million people. we can't just maintain what we have. We have to keep moving and expanding, and we need high quality steel. The company will use $150 million of the funds to improve and modernize its plant in Baytown, Texas. Good job down there, Baytown. Well, the rest will fund a new facility. Okay. So not only are they going to upgrade the current one, but they're adding another one too. It's going to take $350 million to a facility to build one out, which means more production. The Texas plant has been struggling for a long time, says one analyst. The basic company is going to do some backwards integration, fix the one in Baytown, which is a good idea considering the U.S. is surplus in steel scraps and imports are higher considering the recent tariffs. All right, so why are they surplus in steel scraps? Because a limited amount of production that they're doing domestically is a price way up here to accommodate how much it costs to produce something in the United States. China, with their average guy just basically above slavery, making $1 a day, if even that, and subsidized completely by the communist government, can dump their products over the United States, way undersell our prices. And the hope certainly is that we'll go out of business, stop the production, and have to go to China to beg and crawl when we need more production to keep our grid up. They're going to produce 59,000 net tons of steel plates at a capacity utilization of 24%. And 15,000 net tons of steel pipes at 11% utilization. There you go. So they're producing hardly any, 1/4 and 1/10 of the total utilization of the plant is being produced, and they still can't sell it. They still have a surplus because it costs too much. It costs too much because the imports that we're dealing with China are just, no one's going to buy those products. They're just not going to. And the funny thing is, access to natural gas at extremely economical prices and the abundant availability of scrap steel make conditions very conducive for manufacturing. Oh, this makes me so music to my ears. Access to natural gas at extremely economical prices. God bless you, George Mitchell. And if you don't know who George Mitchell is, that is stunning to me that you haven't learned your history, modern contemporary American history. It doesn't shock me in the least. But George Mitchell is a man who found a geologist, who found it almost by serendipity, hydraulic fracturing techniques to get at those, what's called fracking, the natural gas deposits that are knee deep in the ground, deep. They can't just drill, but you got to drill horizontally and diagonally to get at it. And that guy found him. He found how to do it. And because of that, we now have natural gas in abundance, except for people like in Massachusetts and New York who do what? They limit the pipelines because they think natural gas is bad because it's a fossil fuel. And that's their choice. But when you saw what happened this winter, the spot price of natural gas through the roof. I'll put a blog post. I don't think I did a video. I did a blog post, which I'll share with you. Through the roof. Well, everybody else was sitting fat and happy because we had abundant natural gas. Massachusetts did not, because they could not get it to them because Governor Cuomo in New York limited the ability to get the pipelines to move the product from the producers in Canada and Texas and Nebraska and whatnot to the Northeast. Yeah, I mean, that's their choice. I hate to chuckle at it because it's, you get the politicians you vote for, folks, and that's what happened to them. But there's an abundance of natural gas, unlike what we've been told for the last 40 years, which are at peak oil. And certainly the corollary of that is we're going to run out of gas. That's why fossil fuels are bad. That's why we need renewables. Yeah. George Mitchell comes along. God bless him. He says, well, there might be another way. And sure enough, American ingenuity and technology. I love it. The investment will be made in phases to complete by March 2020. Earlier this year, President Trump pressed ahead with import tariffs of 25% on steel and 10% on aluminums. 6 trade partners, including Canada, Mexico, the European Union, were later excluded. Later excluded because Trump knows who is taking advantage of our trade laws. It's China. China is a communist country, and Trump knows. India's trade minister said last week the country would bilaterally discuss import curbs with the United States. He knows India is a natural ally. Everyone's focused on China. India is our buddies. India is who we need to be looking at simply because, A, they speak English. While not purely as capitalistic as we are, they certainly have more of a capitalistic streak than China, which is communist. Communism and growth do not go hand in hand. They are mutually exclusive. So everyone's focused on China, But the big elephant coming down the road in the next 50 years is India. A huge population, a lot of entrepreneurial people come back and forth to the United States, trading their trade, going back, learning, going back to India, come here. Americans going there back and forth and back and forth. More capitalistic, not as much as I'd like, Frank, but still, we're going to develop great relations with India. India knows China is a natural competitor. India knows that they want to be aligned with us, and we want to be aligned with India to deal with the Chinese, the communists. Communism cannot grow. Communism only steals. That's what happens. They will steal our secrets. They'll steal our technology, but they cannot develop their own because the communism doesn't. It just does not. So it's only a matter of time for here's U.S., here's China, and here's India in terms of GDP and things of that nature. India's growing. China's growing. I get it. If all these people think China's going to overtake the U.S., India's going to overtake China. You watch. You mark my words. When's that going to happen? I don't know. But you watch. India will overtake China. And everyone's like, whoa, where'd that happen? Where'd that happen? You watch. Because communism cannot produce anything. It just steals. The history of 100 million dead people is behind communism, and that hasn't changed. All right, now the fact that you got a prime minister in China who's there for life, who can never be voted out. China banned the letter N because they thought that people were going to use that letter N to disparage the prime minister for life, the soon-to-be dictator. That country isn't going anywhere, folks. Send me your Chinese here who want to do great things. I'd love to have them, just like the Venezuelans. Anyway, so that's a positive thing here, folks. Do not let negativity rule your day. And this is Reuters. Reuters. Oh, they can't stand the Trumpster. But they have to state the obvious, which is this trade policy is going to work and is going to make things good in terms of keeping our grid, keeping American entrepreneurial skills, American production, making further deep relations with India. It's a wonderful, wonderful thing to behold. Don't let negativity ruin your day. It's just not worth it. There's a lot to be grateful for, and this is just one thing. All right, that's all I have on this. By all means, subscribe or comment. You might hate what I'm talking about. You might say, oh, that violates Milton Friedman. Could not disagree with that more. But by all means, do that. If you want to put the comments in there, I'd love to hear them. Thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel for further content from Heritage Wealth Planning. Thanks, guys.